Hello student, I am Latif sir. Today I will discuss about ICSE class 6 chemistry. The topic is element, compound and mixture. On this topic, this is my third video. In the last video I have discussed about what is mixture, types of mixture. That is mixture are three types: solution, suspension and colloid. In the last video I have already discussed about solution. Today I will discuss about suspension and colloid. So let's see what is the suspension. Suspension is a mixture in which particles of materials are dispersed throughout but large enough to settle out. You have to remember in a solution the particle size is smallest, and in case of suspension the particle size are largest. Okay, so very big size particles are present in suspension. Huh. So suspension is a mixture in which particles of material are dispersed throughout but are large enough to settle out, and the particles of suspension are settled down by the force of attraction due to gravity, or by the force of attraction by the earth. Okay, that's why the particles are settled down in suspension. Second point, suspension can be separated by filtration. The reason is same, because the size of particles are very large in case of suspension. That's why the particles can be separated by filtration. And third point, suspension, the particles of suspension can scatter light. The particles of suspension can scatter light. When you pass a light through a suspension, you will see that the light will scattered by the particles of suspension, because the size of the particles are very large. Now colloid. Colloid is also a mixture, but the difference between colloids, suspension and a solution is mainly the size, difference in the size of the particles. In case of particles are smallest. In case of colloid, the particles are largest. Okay. In case of suspension, the particles are largest, but in case of colloid, the particle size ranges between solution and suspension. So let's see what is a colloid. Colloid is a mixture in which the particles are dispersed throughout and not heavy enough to settle out. The particles of colloid cannot be settled down. Okay, the particles are small but larger than solution. You have to remember, particles are small compared to suspension but larger than solution, and fairly well mixed. But the particles can scatter light. When you pass light through a colloid, then you will see that the particles of colloid will scatter the light. And the last point, the particles cannot be separated by normal filtration, while the particles of suspension can be separated mm, by normal filtration, and particles of solution cannot be separated by normal filtration. Example of colloids: milk is a milk, and you can see milk, honey, and detergent, shampoo. Sorry, shampoo. These are colloid. Okay, you can see here the example are given. So mixture three types: colloid, suspension and true solution. You have to remember the properties of colloid, suspension and the solution with the example. Okay.